Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my premium subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing GHISLAINE Maxwell. Yes, we have her all on the news right now, so we're going to talk about her everything in the video in regards to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, you name it. I don't know exactly what we're going to be walking into in this video, but it's kind of like a blind meeting, if you will. This is a part 2 of the part 1 series that we just did. So if you had not watched the live or you did not know I was going live again because I have not gone live in years, go ahead, go to the live category here on this YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find the live. Anyway, and also the link will be in the description below if you, of course, are interested in that as well. All right, so this video is being recorded on Monday, July 14th at 8:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as and when I'm recording this. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content, watching the video longer than normal. Really helps to boost the algorithm here on YouTube. Also, if you want to be personally notified when I do post and upload because YouTube does not notify you, go into the description or the comment section below, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, so in case you want to be notified when I do post and upload. We do have a donation link in the description and the comment section if you want to donate. My recommendation, don't donate. Just watch this video, engage with the content. It really helps boost the algorithm. There's no need to donate, but of course, it's there because a lot of you guys have suggested it to be. Anyway. Again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's dive right into this. I don't know exactly what we're walking into. The last time part 1 was very interesting. I don't know what we're going to be walking in today, but I would expect no less. So let's just get on with it and let's just see what's going to happen. So if you guys may have remembered, if you've been with me for quite a while, I did an astrology perspective, the first of its kind, actually. I haven't really done something like this. I psychically channeled the astrology. I said, what was going on with the astrology and inputted my psychic intuition, what I felt was going to happen, and I input it into the psychic channeling. And so I'm going to read it to you, a little refresher. If you have been with me for quite a while, you all know I've been talking about this for a very long time, probably since March of this. Yeah, so specifically March is when I did this. Anyway, I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll go from there. All right, so it says here, I added some of my psychic challenge to this, so enjoy. Recorded on March 9th, 2025 at 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it quoted key dates to look out for. So if you want to go ahead and look at this, I'll put the link to this in the description below in case you want to go ahead and read this on your own time. But let's just go ahead and let's see what I've been saying. Now, one thing I have noticed consistently is that because this is my first time doing astrology and my psychic challenge inputted together, one thing I have noticed is that the timing has been drastically off. But the energy and what I've been saying has been pretty much online. So let's go ahead, let's read it. March 13th to the 14th, 2025, the total solar lunar eclipse occurs alongside a blood moon. Right? I did the blood moon video, so you want to go ahead and watch that because apparently I didn't do anything for that one. Okay, March 29th, 2025 will mark a partial solar eclipse. It will be a new day in Canada, which may mean something life-changing for Canadians is happening around this time, which it did. Okay, March 30th, 2025 will mark the first time Neptune enters Aries. Last time this happened was April 11th in 1861, one day before the American Civil War began. When Neptune enters Aries, is said to signal a time of action and purpose. Historically, Neptune and Aries have been linked to revolutionary courses and revolutionary wars. Without certainty, Neptune and Aries in 2025 will lead to a new cultural landscape and calls to action. Since then, we saw like the No King movement and all those type of protests start to pop up across the nation. We have here as well is expect big action coming from the Vatican and the White House around this time. Democrats and or Republicans may feel compelled to take an action. Countries that are neutral will be no more. Each will be forced to take a side. The Pope may die around this time, or a new vote for a Pope may start around this time period. A new agenda will be laid out for the world by a global leader, or by a world leader. So let's break it down. Let's see what come true already. So we already had, there was a new day in Canada, which means there was a new leadership that occurred. So when we talk about March 30th, when Neptune enters Aries back into the United States birth chart again, We have here, we talked about a new cultural landscape and call for action. There was a lot of people trying to call for impeachment. There were people who were mass protesting in the United States, but also around the world as well. We talked about big action from the Vatican. Yes, there was the Pope Francis unfortunately passed away, and a vote for a new Pope has begun, and we got Pope Leo the 14th, I believe is what he is. And we have big action from the White House around this time. Democrats and or Republicans may feel compelled to take an action. And if you read the second line, it tells you in between the line here, it says countries that are neutral will be no more. Each will be forced to take a side, which indicated there was a war, right? There was a war, there will be a start of a war, and countries will have to be forced to take a side, which is what we're seeing now with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We're seeing this with the Iran Israel-Palestinian conflict and in the Ukrainian and Russian war, but specifically it's the Iranian war with the United States, right? We have here a new agenda will be laid out for the world by a world leader. We had not yet experienced this yet, so we're waiting to see who this is, but a lot of it has already come to pass. It might be taking a little bit of time. March 1st to April 12th, 2025 will mark when Venus enters retrograde and goes back in being in Aries, back into Pisces. So, excuse me. Well, so March 1st, April 12th, 2025 will mark when Venus goes retrograde and goes from being in Aries back into Pisces. That's what I meant to say. This time period under Venus retrograde is where you can see toxic outcomes of people fighting and making up. We saw this with Trump and Zelensky. Hours of the interview taking place in Venus retrograde. A reimbursement of an exile topic or person coming back from the past. And this could relate to issues one talked about from the past. I'm seeing people like Putin and the Mueller report. Any sort of connection will be temporary, of course. Spending can be massive this month. This can mean that the congressional funding bill may be larger than ever or larger than normal. This is normally not a good idea financially long term. This time period could provide a clear glimpse on how weak the economy truly is. It may even crash. Lastly, old insecurities may arise during this time. Expect problems related to America's hidden path to reemerge and cause new issues. Let's break it down. So we have here is that this time period under Venus retrograde is where you can see the most toxic outcomes of people fighting and making up. We saw this with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. That's the most recent one. We saw multiple people from like Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump. There were people fighting from the same side. You saw them fighting and then making up, stuff like that. We have here, obviously we know about Trump and Zelensky. That happened within hours of this movement, a planetary movement coming into effect. But also I talked about how a reemergence of an exile. Hello, Keepin. Hi. So we talked about a reemergence of an exile topic or person coming back from the past. Exile means criminal in this context. So it could be referencing Epstein. It could be referencing GHISLAINE Maxwell. It's an exile. So somebody considered of evil or bad intentions. So somebody with GHISLAINE Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein would fit this bill. Someone considered a criminal in the eyes of the collective, right? That's what the exile, a topic or person coming back from the past. And I mentioned this could be related to issues one talked about, which people have talked about Epstein many times before, especially during 2016, 2017, all the way through 2020 and beyond. It only just started to really now come back into conversation again, right? We have here, we talked about Putin and the Mueller report. Putin is very active. We just had a news report not too long ago about Melania Trump knowing about things. With Putin was talked about how there was a news article saying that Trump is a little bit concerned why Melania had a connection to Putin and not him directly, and how she knows certain things well before he does. And that's actually ironically, as I'm saying, I was 9/11 on the screen. And what else? The other one, we talked about the Mueller report. There was information now that was reported that, what to call it, that now they're considering prosecuting Jim Comey, is that what his name is? John Comey, something like that. The guy who was doing the Mueller report, apparently they're going to go after him now. They're going to try to do a criminal indictment or criminal investigation to him. So that came true. Right? We talked about the Mueller report. I didn't know how it was going to come back, but now it makes a lot of sense how it came back. We talked about here what's it called? Any sort of connection will be temporary, of course. Spending could be massive this month. This could mean that the congressional funding bill may be larger than ever or larger than normal, which is true. The big, beautiful bill that has a price tag, I think, about like $3 trillion. Right? That's a high price tag. It's the largest funding bill ever in the United States history. So it's a big bill indeed. Right? We talked about that. What else? We have here, this is not normally a good idea financially long term. This time period could provide a clear glimpse on how weak the economy truly is. It may even crash. And at the point in time, March 1st between April 12, 2025, was exactly the time frame when the economy or the stock market crashed. If you guys remember that back in April when the economy or the stock market crashed and did very poorly and people were very much concerned, that was the key indicator. That was the key indicator that the economy is really, truly weak. And that this funding bill is going to exacerbate that. Right now, you see it on the news, them talking about how it's not and the economy is doing well and doing great. That's not true. Again, like I said, this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right. I talked about here, lastly, old insecurities may arise during this time. Expect problems related to America's hidden past to reemerge and cause new issues. We saw this. It was very much vocal. This is in regards to the concentration camp in the United States, Alligator Alcatraz. Right? Remember the very controversial move by the United States to put Japanese in containment camps. It has once again come back to the United States, except this time these people may not make it out. Hello, Sue. Hello, welcome back, love. Yeah, well, there's going to be a lot of tea today. Trust me. We're just going over some information astrology-wise, and then we're going to jump right into it. Hello, Barbara. All right, so March 14th to April 16, 2025. When Mercury enters retrograde and goes from being in Aries back into Pisces. When we enter, misinformation will be rampant during this time period. AI may be a contributing factor to this. This also includes any possibility of any election taking place around this time. Slowness and lack of communication around health and disease is to be expected. I'm getting hints around animal health related to foodborne illnesses. Technology may go down in some parts of the country due to accidents occurring. Expect more crashes to occur during this time, whether it's physical or metaphysical. Traveling during this time period is not advised. The White House may see Trump give his first press address to the nation regarding accidents, but may receive false information regarding them because people who are around him are afraid to be honest and upfront with him. Elon may be centered here in some way. If any scientific travel takes place here, expect something horrific to go wrong. Let's take a look. Let's break it down. So here, when we enter, misinformation will be rampant during this time. AI may be a contributing factor to this. We're starting to see that now. AI is starting to really pick up steam. We just had Twitter now go full on Nazi. Yes, they changed the algorithm of artificial intelligence to spew a lot of white nationalist, white supremacist type viewpoint from this. We have here. This also includes any possibility of election taking place around this time. There was an election that was taking place between the time frame of March 14 to April 16, 2025. This led to Republican victories. Yes, now Republican victories in the state of Florida, but nonetheless, the Republicans were able to hold on. Okay, so we have here slowness and lack of communication around health and disease to be expected. There was a slowness, there was an overhaul of the health department. There was a slowness in that in terms of like diseases and stuff like that. It also talked about here, I'm getting hints around animal health related to foodborne illnesses. There were reports, I don't know if you guys noticed it, there was a higher amount of reported news about E. coli, Listeria, and all those type of bacteria that's in our food, whether it's in the meat or whether it's in the produce. You're starting to see that to become more stronger. All right. Technology may go down in some parts of the country due to actions occurring. We have saw that there was some action, there was some sort of blackout. I don't know exactly what part of the country experienced that, but there was a blackout. We had accidents. Expect more crashes to occur during this time, whether it's physical or metaphysical. There was a report by the scientific community that they opened up and turned on CERN, what they have oversaw. Many dropped in the energetic magnetic field on planet Earth, and it dropped to basically zero, and it went really high back up the highest point ever recorded in human history in terms of the energy and the frequency being out of whack. What here, the White House may see Trump give his first press address to the nation regarding accidents. We may receive false information regarding them, but people are not afraid to be honest and upfront with him, which means they're lying to him. So we have not yet seen that, so that is yet to be seen. So for everything that's been listed on this thing that I wrote has come to pass in some formality. We have here, Elon may be centered here in some way, so Elon may in some way influence the accident that may have happened. We don't know exactly what this accident is going to be. But it says here, if any scientific travel takes place here or within this time frame, expect something horrific to go wrong. There was no scientific travel that took place, but like I said, a lot of things have kind of been delayed or the timing has been off. But the energy and everything I said in terms of the psychic intuition I was getting has been pretty much on spot. Elon launched something like I think it was a rocket into the sky or the atmosphere, and it just blew up. I don't know when that happened, but I know it happened pretty recently. But again, there was a scientific travel and it failed. So I might have to go do an update. But anyway, so I just want to tell you that like how it kind of indicated behind the scenes how Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were going to appear back into the forefront, back into the mind of the average American person, but also globally as well. Because I did say that what happened in the United States is also going to see in some retrospect going to affect Canada as well. So Canada will be affected by whatever's happening in the Ghislaine Maxwell Epstein situation. Oh yeah, this weekend Mercury retrograde. Oh, that's lovely. I can only imagine all the technological problems I'm about to experience this whole weekend. Must mean I will not be going live. All right. Everything has been acting up electronic. Well, that's lovely. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's begin. Let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's delve right into this. I don't know exactly what we're walking into. Keep an open mind. Let's figure this out. Let's see what's happening. My first thing I want to ask in regard is, will Ghislaine Maxwell be killed? I think that's probably going to be a lot of our minds right now. Let's go ahead. Let's find out. All right, so Spirit Angels tell me, will Ghislaine Maxwell be killed? Will Ghislaine Maxwell be killed? The one who connected to Jeffrey Epstein? Will Donald Trump or anybody in high positions of power to keep her silent because she is aware of a lot of things and can spill a lot of information? Will she be killed? Will she reveal any information to the public? Will she reveal any information? They're telling me these two cards here are the information here. That this is the answer. Will she reveal anything to the public? What's the bottom deck here? We have the Magician. She's no longer in control of what happened to her fate. She's no longer in control. Someone else is in control of her life. And here you have on the top of the deck, you have the Queen of Wands here. This is a card of Ghislaine Maxwell. Whether you want to agree or disagree, this is not up for debate. Although this card is a very good card, it indicates high spiritual presence, understanding, looking from things from a certain lens. For her, this Queen of Wands card has been transformed. It has been reformed in a way. When it represents her in this Queen of Wands here, it represents a woman who is sitting with most power. She has the most influence. She has the ability to, not only does she not control her own life, but she also has the power to destroy others around her. That is why she is still alive today. But you notice how she's looking in a very peculiar way? She's looking toward this side, and this side here represents the future. This side represents the past. Right? This represents the past, this represents the future, which means that in a way, Ghislaine Maxwell is looking towards the future. She's looking for what she can do with her power, with her influence, with her name recognition. And here you have it, the black cat. Now, the black cat always symbolizes spiritual presence, a familiar, if you will. But for her, there's a little birdie, there's a whisper. There's someone here who's on her side. Whether this person is with good intention, whether or not this person is willing to help her, and because they truly believe in what she did and what she does, or is it that they have something a little bit different? Maybe the motive here, this by represented by the black cat, might be symbolizing, oh, hi Sal, that this black cat might be symbolizing something a little bit different. It might be somebody whose goal is to protect her so that when she speaks, she can speak with honesty, that she can speak with truth, that she can reveal the information, that she is the only one with that information. Because here you have in the background, you have the sun. This is the sunflower, and I'm getting indication Ukraine. There's something here that's in connection with her in Ukraine, and this is the color of yellow, and yellow represents the solar plexus, and the solar plexus represents I do with confidence. I do. Right? You take an action with confidence, and here you have the crown. You have the power. You have control. Although Ghislaine Maxwell is not in control of her own life, she is in control of everybody else's, and in a way that gives her the leg up. And that kind of gives us a little bit of a summary here. The next card is we have the Five of Swords reversed. And the Five of Swords reversed indicates to us is people walking away or removing themselves out of a situation, right? Walking away and fighting till the very end when somebody else gives up. This is nagging, right? This is nagging information. This is like somebody who kept being annoying. You eventually give up. But this is not what this is. This is not what this is. It doesn't feel like something's being annoying. Like someone just feels at peace. And they don't feel like they're being poked, right? They're not being poked right now. Ghislaine Maxwell is not being poked for information. She's not being poked. She's being unbothered, unscathed. She's just living her best life right now, if you will. And you have here, you have the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords reversed is a very interesting card. And you're absolutely right, Ardnu. She can absolutely snitch at any time. But this Seven of Swords card reversed indicates something a little bit different. It's not walking away with power or walking away trying to get away with something. I think she realizes that she cannot get away with that. This is not something that even the public would allow her to get away with. Even if she gets pardoned, that doesn't mean that her life won't be in danger. But someone else will take the opportunity to fix the justice system that won't serve and do justice. It only will serve justice for those who are less fortunate, if you will. And we are the ones here right now on YouTube are the quote unquote the less fortunate in their eyes. But the Seven of Swords here represent that she knows she can't get away with this. She knows she can't get away with it. Because you have somebody who's poking, right? Someone who's supposed to be poking her, but didn't get any information, or they didn't attempt to get any information out of her. And here you have is her looking. Her goal is not to walk away from this. She knows she's locked in forever. She understands that that's not a surprise to her. Well, the next card that you have the Three of Swords here. Now, the question I asked here is that will somebody assassinate her? Will somebody go after her? Will somebody try to execute her, kill her, or whatever? This is the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is essentially saying that if she decides to speak, then yeah, she will. And this is the card which represents the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords means taking the sword and running it through the incumbent. Now, what's ironic in this aspect, the incumbent in this aspect will represent Donald Trump in this way. But he is the king. He is the incumbent. If you have been with me for a very long time on my channel, you would know that the Ace of Swords represents taking that sword and ramming it right through somebody and ending their reign of power. But there's a caveat here. Now, there's two ways that you can interpret that. You can interpret the Ace of Swords as something that symbolizes that, oh, well, she knows she's going to go eventually, that he's going to eliminate her. But she might speak anyway. She might just say what she has to say. And it could not only spell the end of her, but also could spell the end of Trump. But this what it could also indicate as well. It could indicate that, okay, well, she speaks, or if she betrays him, because there's a betrayal card. If she does betray Donald Trump or betray certain people, she could end up in a very hot potato, if you will. But you have here on the card that represents Ghislaine Maxwell, she's wearing a crown. And so is the crown of the sword. Right? So in a way, it doesn't matter how this goes. She's going to end up dead anyway. So you might as well just destroy some lives while you can. Right? Destroy some people who were actually involved. You had nothing to lose. Right? Remember, we talked about how before is that no one's poking her for information right now. And here you have the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is clearly indicating she knows she can't get out. And even if she does get pardoned, and she gets removed, and she gets put out into the public space, public domain, someone's going to go after her, someone's going to do the job for her. But whether it's going to be somebody who is of high importance, of high power, high influence, if they don't even do it, they don't go after her, someone else from the normal public perspective, will go after her to protect their child. Whether she's a threat now or a threat in the past does not matter. But what does matter? People do not mess with child predators, and she herself is a predator, right? And in that card that comes in, we have the moon card reversed, and the moon card reversed is the question is reveal, right? This is something that's hidden. This is something that's hidden. But this is reversed. This means something gets revealed. This is the moon card reversed. The question is, does it get revealed that she gets killed? Is that what that card indicates? Or does it mean that she betrays people who were most close to her within her inner circle? And because of that, even though she's killed, the information is now public. The question is, how does she choose to go? Regardless, she's dying. The question is, what will her fate be? What fate will she choose to go with? What fate or how does she want to go? How would she want to be remembered for? Right? Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. It seemed to be exactly what's showing up in the cards. All right, so let's find out. Now, the next cards here on these two sides is asking, well, what's going to happen? Like, is she going to be killed or not? This is going to be the official answer here. That's what they told me. This is going to be the official answer. And here you have the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is a very interesting card because it means looking at the detail from a bigger picture, breaking things down. Yes, you can see the bigger picture. The guy's looking at you. But that means he's looking and seeing you as it's all his formation. But when you look at it from a different perspective, and you look at him, you're not only seeing him, but you're also seeing not only the blue, but you're seeing all the people involved. This is what this card represents. It means involvement. And what is the card that represents here? We have the Chariot card. She's going to die by a heart attack. Something's going to give her either a stroke or a heart attack, but she's dying and she's not being rushed to the hospital. And here you have the Chariot card reversed. The Chariot card means ambulance. The ambulance card is reversed. She's not being rushed to the hospital. Her days are numbered, is what I would best put it. Her days are numbered. The question is, she could die as soon as tomorrow. That's as early as she can die. And here we have this is the Temperance card, which symbolizes the hospital nurse, the doctors, like the equilibrium here. It's reversed. The question we're asking, will she be killed? That's the question that we're asking. What is her fate? Her fate is death. That is her fate. Right? Well, let's take a look. Let's see. On the bottom of the deck here, right, we have her on the throne. What's behind her? We have not domestic. I mean, this is not international. This is domestic. So whatever's domestic, something is happening within her own border, within her own sphere of influence. This also indicates the prison system wherever she's being held. And here you have the Eight of Pentacles. Someone who's offering money to somebody behind the scenes. And here you have the Queen of Pentacles. This is not Gaetz Maxwell. This is a woman holding the money. This is not Gaetz Maxwell. So this is somebody paying off somebody to do something. And what's behind her? The goal is the Four of Swords, is to end a political prisoner or to end somebody so that they cannot speak. And here you have it, things get uprooted, things get thrown up into the air. So what is going to end up happening in this type of situation? It feels very much like Gaetz Maxwell has a choice, and she knows her choice. She's in the news right now, and she knows she has enemies. And it feels very much like she has to make an internal decision. Does she choose to speak and not say anything at all and risk being killed, or be killed anyway, or just don't say anything and still be killed? The question is, will she say anything? Will she not say anything? And there's apparently a report as well that some people, and this is some people only, and this is not in the news, whatever, this is what people are speculating, and I'm not endorsing this in any way, but they're saying that there's a possibility that they may force Gaetz Maxwell to only state Democratic member names only, and not Republican. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. It's just going to be political. It's just going to be forced to have the information manipulated to make it seem and appear as if one party is evil while the other party is innocent. We all know both parties are actually engaged in this. It would be stupid for anybody to think, oh, only one party is engaged in this. Doesn't matter if you belong to a Democrat or Republican Party. You're a predator, you're a predator. Doesn't matter where you're from. Right? Look at Andrew Cuomo. That's a great example. Right? Andrew Cuomo really did like an interview not too long ago, and people asked him about his past, his dark past, and he said, I'm not a predator, or I'm not a molester, I'm Italian. Are you for real right now? So the same thing. So let's take a look. The spirits and angels tell me, will there be any attempt to try to get Ghislaine Maxwell? If she does decide to speak, will she speak with truth and honesty, or will she manipulate? Oh, look what's behind it, the Tower card. Will she speak with truth and honesty, or will she lie to the public to make it appear as if some other political group or a political person or a group of people were part of the list, while also withholding information? Will it be like not telling the truth in its full entirely? Will Ghislaine Maxwell, if she decides to speak, will her information as she revealed to the public be of complete and honest truth? Yes or no? Will she tell the truth? Okay. Alright, so the first card that comes up is judgment, right? Proper judgment. If Ghislaine Maxwell decides to speak to the public, or decides to speak on her what she knows and her information and reveal it, will she speak with honesty or will she lie? Will she blame it on other people for political preference, or blame it because people around her forcing her to target or to group one people as predators so that the other can get away? This is the judgment card. The judgment card is reversed. This is a very key indicator here. This is a very key indicator. Let's continue going forward. I'm seeing a lot of blood. I'm hearing the word period, but I'm seeing the word blood here as well. The first card that comes up is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 9 of swords, and the 9 of swords upright is indicating to me that there is some sort of trouble, and it's looking in the past. So the trouble in the past tense, right? This is getting to the point where she gets closer to her death day, right? This is when she starts to realize internally that there's something here. I don't know how to describe this, but you ever like get this internal feeling or something was meant to be, something's gonna happen, and you kind of get this internal gut feeling that something is coming closer and closer and closer, and you can't describe it, but you understand the energy. This is what it feels like when Ghislaine Maxwell experiences this energy. There's a symbolizing her internal clock is telling her that death is near, that her intuition is near. She's gonna get some visions, she's gonna get some psychic intuition that's gonna tell her, and she's gonna end up having a situation like Abraham Lincoln did when he saw himself in the casket the night before his murder. So, and this card represents the 9 of swords. And the 9 of swords is reversed. And this is a card of sleepless nights, not waking up, right? And just feeling like you made a big mistake. This falls underneath the judgment card. And the judgment card, again, is revealing information about certain people, certain groups, right? The judgment card in reverse here is supposed to tell us answer the question in particular. Will Ghislaine Maxwell tell the honest truth to the American people? The judgment card is reversed. No. No. And why do we know that? We know that because if she was honest with the American people, her life would be in danger. Her life would be in danger. She'd be up crying at night. But it's reverse. It's saying this is with intention to not have this experience, to have a peaceful sleep. Is she stupid? I mean, really, does she really think that if they promise her that they're not going to murder her, and if she gets on the screen and says, "Oh, I'm going to do this, and this, did that," but these Donald Trump and Elon Musk are completely innocent, and she tells the people like that, and then they don't think that suddenly how they're not going to turn on you and kill you? Like, really? This is the 9 of swords here. The 9 of swords is reversed. It's indicating this is somebody with no remorse. If somebody was openly honest, despite how bad it was, despite the consequences, you would do the right thing. This is somebody who does not do the right thing. And here you have it, the strength card, right? The strength card for the Republican. So yeah, it's very possible if Ghislaine Maxwell does decide to speak, it will be with political preference. It will be with political pressure to get her to say, "Oh, these people, these group of people are innocent, but look to this side. Look at the Democrats being predators. Look at them being the ones actually involved. Look at Andrew Cuomo. Look at Bill Clinton. Look at those people. But ignore Donald Trump. Ignore these Republicans, right?" The last time I checked, Donald Trump was a Democrat. If that's the case, if that's the way they're going to play this, Donald Trump was a Democrat. Bloomberg was a Democrat. Hillary Clinton was actually a Republican, believe it or not. And here you have it, the strength card. And the next card that falls above it is the justice card. And the Justice card, for me, symbolizes the Republican Party, right? The strength of the Republican Party. So if anything, if she was to say anything, it will be in favor of the Republican Party, and it'll be up against the Democrats. So she will accuse the Democrats while being supportive of the Republican Party. The question is she doing this for her own behalf, or is somebody forcing her to do this? That's the question that yet to be remained. But what we do know is just the three of wands here, which means destruction. Things are going to get upheaval. This is going to be a lot bigger story than any of us can think. And it's happening all now during Uranus entering Gemini. And that's a huge, explosive time period. Now, the question is, a lot of you guys are probably on your mind and be like, well, Donald Trump is going to get removed from this. Yeah, he might. He might get removed, but not during the golden period of his life. Donald Trump is entering the golden period towards the end of July into July of 2026. It's going to be considered his golden period. So if Donald Trump wants to create a dictatorship, he will have to do it within this time frame. He has to be able to gather all the resources that he needs to be able to become a dictator within the time period that's the most golden, the highest peak, the best time of his life will be peaking from around July of this year towards the end of this year, the end of this month, the end of this month of July into next July in 2026. And that's when things start to crap out. But Donald Trump will assume the most power soon. So the question is, if a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to be removed this week, tomorrow, going to be removed next month. He's not being removed. It's a golden time period for Donald Trump right now. Donald Trump will not be removed during his golden period. It doesn't make sense. The astrology said Donald Trump is in the best period of his life. He will not be punished for this right now. He will not be blamed for this right now. But that's coming towards an end. And it's going to start, ironically enough, when Donald Trump's golden period ends, is when the United States returns exactly 250 years old. The period of no return for the United States will mark the end of the United States as we know it. It will mark the funeral while also celebrating the last Independence Day of the United States. And that will be when the United States starts to really experience a lot of drastic changes. So the themes that you're seeing now, remember I told you that, what the themes that we're seeing now in the month of July and August are going to be the main themes that we're going to see over the next 8 years. We're not going to stop talking about Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. The fact that this is occurring in the month of July is going to be a key indicator. We're going to be talking about this well into 2033, which means our grandkids, our children are going to know who these people are. It's sad to say it, but they're going to be in the news. And Donald Trump is going to be no different. Elon Musk is going to be no different. Going back into the reading, we have the moon card, and the moon card is reveal. The moon card is reveal. So yeah, things will get revealed. Things will get revealed. The question is will it be with good intention? No. This is a probability here. This is not saying this is what she's going to do. This is an idea that somebody said, oh, well, what if she does this? This is all that this indicates here. It indicates to us that she could be, with political pressure forward to say that one group of people are evil and that they were in part of Epstein's list, while a whole other group of people are not. And here you have is the 5 stories. Does she choose to get bullied into this, or will she just do this willingly? That's the question. That's really the kicker here. All right, so that's Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what we know. So we know that eventually her death day is coming. She's going to be aware of it. She's going to have to make a decision. She's going to have to make a choice, right? We know that. She's going to have to make a choice. The question is when she does make this choice, what is the likely outcome in the United States when she makes her choice? When Ghislaine Maxwell makes her choice and is known to the public about what happened, at least, quote, what happened, because I put in quote, because we don't know what she's going to do. Is she going to be openly honest with people, or is she not? That's up to her. We can't decide that for her. Remember, she holds the balls in her basket. We do not. She holds the power right now. If Ghislaine Maxwell does decide to spill or chooses not to spill, and after her death, whatever it is that we're talking about, Spirit, what is the likely outcome of the situation with Ghislaine Maxwell versus the United States versus Donald Trump and all other people involved on the Epstein list? Okay, so somebody chasing somebody. Okay, we have the King of Wands reversed. We have a reveal. We have a new leader. Okay, we have judgment. Judgment. Okay, judgment on generations. Okay, We have here a calm leader who doesn't betray. We have a leader fold in a house somewhere. The temper's in reverse, which means he falls due to ill health. We have judgment card here. We have a 3 of Wands here. With overseeing destruction and seeing the Hierophant, overseeing the destruction of the government. Oh, this is gonna be deep. Okay. So this is the seven of Pentacles here. The 7 of Pentacles means there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of information. I don't think it's gonna come as a surprise to anybody. But this is the 7 of Pentacles. This is talking about whenever this period happened where Ghislaine Maxwell revealed information, whether it's within full truth or partial truth, does not matter. This is what's gonna happen to the United States. This is the likely outcome of them all. And I'm gonna read it to you right now. On top of the deck here is we have the 3 of Cup, and the 3 of Cups means celebration. The question is, who is the one celebrating, who is the one that's not celebrating? What's behind this? We have mental freeness. Those people are going to be free mentally. So whatever the abuse was, those people who are celebrating, who feel like they were being restrained, that they're unable to speak out, that they're unable to feel like people understood them, people call them crazy, that this is not going on, that this is all a dream, this is all made up. These people will feel vindicated, that they feel like they got the healing that they needed. This is going to come with healing for those who've been victimized. This also means for those who were actually trying to fight for this, those who fought for this, right? Those who fought for this, those who died for this, to be able to reveal this information. And I'm getting a key indicator here. You guys remember the energy and the woman from Virginia? I think she was the Attorney General, but I don't know if she was the Attorney General. But I keep getting images of her. So she in some way connected to this. She's connected to this in some way. We have the card here. So interesting. Okay, so I said someone's running away and someone's chasing somebody. So this is the card is what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen now that this information comes to fruition? What we have here, we have the Knight of Wands. This is the card that indicates Donald Trump. It's the card that represents the Republican. This is the card that represents the conservative movement. Which means I do how I feel. That's how the Republicans enact policy. They don't enact policy on the mind. They don't enact policy on the understanding of foundation. They enact policy based on their emotion and how they feel what is right. Not what they know is right, but what they feel is right. That's why it's represented here. The Knight of Swords, though, however, whoever this represents the color silver. And the silver represents the spiritual note here. It also symbolizes I am, what represents the color red, what represents the root chakra, which means I am my foundation. The color white symbolizes the aura, the purity, the intention, the understanding, right? And the color blue indicates the communication. It indicates the throat chakra. It means I speak what I feel. I speak what I am. And because I know what I am and I speak into existence, I speak with understanding. And that's exactly what this Knight of Swords card means. Because this Knight of Swords, while this guy is just dallying, the horse is not speeding, it's kind of taking his time to escape. The Knight of Swords is coming in hot and heavy and hot and fast, and it's coming right up behind him. So something that seems so far is gonna pick up speed. It's gonna pick up space pretty quickly. And remember, I'm getting an indication here that I've been telling you guys that if I get anything from my guys, if they tell me something, not to block it. I'm gonna tell you whatever they tell me. Here they're telling me the Knight of Swords here and the Knight of Wands is indicating it's a possibility that you remember how a lot of psychics, a lot of tarot card readers for a very long time been saying that Donald Trump could escape the country, blah 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 blah. This could indicate that this could be the thing that forces Donald Trump out of the nation. This could be the thing that forces him out. But it means he's forced out of the White House. He might use this as a means to escape. Now, going into this cards here, we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands symbolizes a conservative power. This is a Republican. This is a neoconservative. This is not MAGA. This card represents neoconservatism, represents a conservative president, a Republican president. This card represents the opposite, MAGA. It represents Republican president, right? This is what this card symbolizes. It's the King of Wands. It's the lizard. It's cold. It's It's cold-blooded. It needs warmth, right? It needs to be loved in order to feel appreciated. It needs to be loved in order to do the right thing. That's what it feels very much like. That's why the King of Swords comes here. I mean, the King of Wands. Oh my God, the King of Wands. Then it's also on top of the the next card that is on top of the King of Wands is the Sun card, and the Sun card symbolizes a new leader, a new perspective, new era. You notice how the sunflower card comes up in the background? Remember how I talked about how that was going to be in relation to the Israeli-Palestinian-Iranian conflict with the United States entering it? This is exactly what the sun card indicates. The sun card indicates in some way, in some form, Israel, Palestine, and Iran are somehow connected to the Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell list. I don't know how. I don't know how to describe it, but somehow they are all connected. Whether it's they're fighting, but there's an underlying tone here that there is a little bit more than what meets the eye. The war that's going on in the Middle East is more than what meets the eye. The question is what's the true story? The next card is you have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card comes up as reversed. And the reason for this is that we're asking about what's going to happen when this information comes out. When Ghislaine Maxwell spilled or does not make a decision, we don't know exactly how she's going to go. But whatever choice she makes, this is the likely outcome that comes from whatever decision she decides to make. And here you have the Judgment card. The Judgment card means an awakening. It means the media. It means mass telling. This is mass communication. It's reversed right now. It's telling me here, hello, Sarah, how are you, my love? The Judgment card indicates here that there's going to be a limitation on communication issues, that there's going to be propaganda guys. And I'm hearing the word propaganda guys, which I don't think it's an actual legitimate word, but I'm hearing that word. It's like propaganda, but it's almost like hardcore propaganda to the point where they're going to try to spin this Epstein story out of existence, or they might not even cover it. But that's what the Judgment card is here for. It's telling us that nobody in the collective sphere is going to understand what's really going on, what's really happening behind the scenes. I'm pretty well, Sarah. How are you, my love? You have here the next card as well. You have the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse indicates a judgment from all generations. There is a judgment here. There is a criticizing of the generations. It's that they should have, could have, didn't. That's what it's saying, that the corruption bleeds through generations. This is not a one-in-a-lifetime generation. This is something that has been ongoing for centuries. This is a century issue. This is not a decade issue. This is something that has been going on for years and years and decades and decades and centuries and centuries. So what is going on here? This is deeper than we all think. This is deeper than we all think. There are more people involved in this than we all like to think about. Underneath the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords here, let's take a look. We have here the Knight of Wands, who is moving slowly, but who is trying to escape. You have him represented here as the King of Cups. This is somebody who's trying to maintain a chip using the cup, maintaining that emotion. But if you look at the cup very closely, there's nothing inside the cup. It's just empty. But here you see below him, you see the wave, you see the pirate ship. Something coming to shore, something is coming soon, the red color. I am. What's red? The Knight of Swords. But it's trouble in paradise. Are you able to sail the ship and record the right of history? The Knight of Swords here is the Ten of Swords reversed. The Ten of Swords means an ending, betrayal, right? This is person, whoever is doing the chasing, is not the one who's going to be on the wrong side of history. It's the one who's escaping is going to be the wrong side of history. And it tells me here that this is going to be an individual. This is somebody of great importance, great power. This is why they are in the chair right now. This indicates somebody who's going to be experiencing upheaval, disruption. We have the King of Wands reversed and then the Sun card. The Sun card and the King of Wands reversed is indicating, specifically the King of Wands reversed, indicates a Republican or a MAGA president. Right? This also indicates when it's reversed, you know how this person in the King Cup is upright in an upright position? This card represents the Vice President. Right? It represents the Vice President. But in this specific aspect, it also symbolizes when somebody's sitting in the chair, it symbolizes that person's in control, they're empowered, they're in influence. This person gets removed. Whatever this is, it gets removed. Right? This is why the King of Wands here reverse comes in. And here you have it, the Four of Wands, right underneath it, means someone gets removed from a form of government, someone is removed from a government position. Someone is removed from a high governmental position. And here you have is followed by the Sun card. And the Sun card in this specific aspect revealed a new leader, a new prospect, a new opportunity. And here you have a conservative. So this is going to be a conservative president. So whoever is going to take over after this new person, whoever is leaving, whether it's Donald Trump, then it's JD Vance. If it's not JD Vance or Donald Trump, someone else is taking over who have the conservative intention. It could also symbolize a senator. It could represent the House of Representatives. It could be a judicial branch. Doesn't matter. Wherever it is, somebody's leaving a high governmental position. And because of it, it's going to be replaced by another conservative. And how do I know that? You're going to be like, oh, well, this color is now red. Yes, that's right. But if you remember from earlier, I spoke about how the Knight of Wands represented the Republican policy, how they enact policy. They do it based on how they feel. The I feel, which represents the sacral chakra, which indicates the color orange, and yellow, which represents the solar plexus, which means I do, symbolizes I do my actions based on how I feel. And therefore, the Sun card symbolizes the next individual who comes in, whoever this is, in whatever position this is, it can be another conservative to replace the current one who is corrupt. This is going to be someone of young, important. And here you have them riding on the white horse. The question is this person going to be good or is this person going to be bad? That's somebody that's yet to be determined. Underneath that Sun card, though, we have the Temperance. And the Temperance card tells me here imbalance. Something is out of whack. Something is out of shock. This tells me here that, remember, like I said before, we're not sure if this person is going to be a good intention, right? Well, this card just answered the question. This is somebody of bad intention too. So just because you got rid of one bad egg doesn't mean the meat's not spoiled, right? The meat is spoiled. Just because you got rid of one thing, the spoiled meat, doesn't mean it hasn't been spread, right? There's a saying here that, okay, so just say you remove this individual from this position of power, well, then somebody else is going to take over and they're still going to be actively engaged in it. So it's like you're replacing a moldy piece of bread with another moldy piece of bread from the same bag. You're like doing it expecting something else to come of a different result. Just go get another different bag of bread and you'll be fine. But no, in this concept here, is explaining that the way that they're doing it, that they're taking a nice piece of Wonder Bread, they're taking one slice out that has mold on it and say, oh, well, we can't eat that. Let's take another slice from the same bag of moldy bread, and you're expecting a different result. Knowing full well that if mold is inside the bag, everything is infected, and that's exactly what this is indicating. Now, going into the next section here, we have the Judgment card. The Judgment card, again, is that misinformation energy, right? Misinformation. And then you have here destruction, overseeing the destruction. Misinformation is causing massive destruction, not only in the United States, but also globally. But we're going to see this on a mass scale, and it's going to start with whatever GHISLAINE Maxwell decides to reveal to the public. Right? This is her decision. The reason why we can't figure out what it is because it's up to her. And the next card is we have the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles represents generational problem. This is something that's deeper than we all like to think. We all like to perceive our world around us. And here you have it's deeper than we think. And here's the government, the Hierophant. It also oversees and it's right alongside the destruction. What does it symbolize? What will be the outcome? It symbolizes the destruction of the government. Right? Now, when we look at it from different perspective here, we start to look at these cards here. Let's break it down. We have the King of Cups, and the King of Cups in this specific aspect, in regards to the question is what's going to happen. We have the King of Cups here, symbolizing massive process, massive uprising. Right? We have here this person is not yet ready to go. They're not ready to leave their post. Right? This is why the Ten of Swords is reversed. However, something comes into Congress. Something comes into the White House or the Capitol, something coming here in a governmental form, something gets put into place. There's great movement here. There's great unity here. We have here Temperance. Temperance means the government seeks to break that unity. Now, remember how I talked about in part one, how there's going to become a time and a place where they're going to start to divide people along the Epstein line, that they're going to try to make it a political issue. So they're going to be those who are going to be gaslighting to believing that, oh, those people are not true, they're not real. And then there are going to be people who do believe that they are a part of that, right? And there's going to be a middle group who's going to be like the ones, oh, this is not real, this is not happening. There's going to be like 3 different groups, right? And if you have not already watched the part 1, go ahead and watch part 1. I'll put that in the link in the description below and also in the comment section below. But in hindsight, what does that card symbolize? It's symbolizing that there is going to be an effort of unity. Eventually, there will be unity, but you won't reach a period of unity between different political parties and different perspectives on life until both come together and realize, oh, we're not as different as we like to think. We're not as different as we may appear. And the next card is you have the Temperance card. And the Temperance card symbolizes to all of us is that the government seeks to break that unity. Because right now they love that division. They love the idea that people are fighting over this, or they're going to be fighting over this. But it won't last forever. And it won't last forever because in the end, it will lead to the destruction of the current system in place. So the end, what will happen with Ghislaine Maxwell? What's going to happen with Ghislaine Maxwell? The end, she tells it clearly. Whatever decision she decides to go with, whatever the likeliest decision she goes with, will lead to the fall of the current governmental system, maybe not only in the United States, but it could also indicate around the world as well. Whatever country is actually involved in this will affect them too. And it was just 5555, which means great change is upon us. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys all next time. Until then, peace out. I love you. And let others know that I'm actually uploading videos. I know a lot of people apparently have not noticed that I've been uploading videos or going live. I don't know why. So they've been unsubscribing, but they don't think I'm here. But I am actively here, and I've been engaging this when I'm busy. I don't have time to upload, so I try to go live for you guys. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you, Arsu. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you all you guys for watching and engaging with the content. I love you. Have a great night. Until next time. Peace out.